Hello, welcome to the Relationship Masterclass. This is day 20. It's been an impressive journey. What was supposed to be a 5-day masterclass is turned out into a 20-day masterclass. The feedbacks we've been getting has been the fuel behind our commitment to continuous uh, improvement in what we do and in our dedication to, the enrichment of your relationships and your marriages. That is what we're committed to, making sure that your relationship and your marriage is enriched. Today will not be an exception. So I'd like you to sit tight because we've got a lot to do today. And I'm very confident of this very thing, that this is going to mark a turning point in so many relationships today. There are singles who will be saying thank you because I'm not already engaged to anybody based on what I now know. And there are singles who will have to reappraise their relationships based on what they now know. Some will have to reevaluate some relationships. And there are marriages equally who are going to say, hey, you know what? Thank God that I tuned in because this has come to strengthen my relationship and minimize the crisis in our marriage. Whatever your status is, we just want to let you know that we love you. And to that end, we're committed to bringing you some of the best, some of the most reliable information you can have on the subject of marriage and relationship. Today, I'm going to continue on what I started talking about yesterday, and I've gotten amazing feedbacks. We started talking about the 12 major foxes that destroys relationships and marriages, the 12 major foxes that destroy relationships and marriages. We started talking about 3 of them yesterday, and I want to start as usual to figure out amongst us who will be there to help us. And I hope that, I don't know why the men have always sometimes come late. But today I am very, very sure. I just hope so anyway. Let me not be too sure. I just hope that the men will come through today, man of God, come through for us today. I mentioned 3 major foxes that comes into the vine of our relationships and destroy our relationships and our marriage. They come in and they steal away from us the joy, the passion, the commitment, the excitement that we used to have in each other. The foxes actually caused that. And like we said yesterday, when you're supposed to be pursuing the foxes, stop dealing with the vineyard. I'll deal with that today. So let me not go into the... Oh, no, Pastor Isaiah. Oh, my God. Listen, I've not even asked anybody to write yet. And Pastor Isaiah wants to rescue the man. Wait a minute. No. It wasn't even Pastor Isaiah. Oh, yeah, Pastor Isaiah. No. Lord, I thank you. It was Pastor Isaiah's wife that just rescued us. Thank you, Antonia. You just mentioned the fox of irresponsibility. Thank you so very much for that. The fox of irresponsibility. Let me also look at who else has been able to come up with something for us. Oh, Brother Herrick, I thought you were going to do something. Kemi, you have just reinforced, Mrs. Isaiah, you've just reinforced the fox of irresponsibility. Abisola, thank you so very much. You just said to us the fox of rigidity. That is wonderful. Brother Eric, you are greeting me. We are needing answers from men. You are greeting me. Welcome, man of God. Answer. We need... Oh my God. LS Sunlight. A woman has already mentioned what you are mentioning. You are saying rigidity. Already a woman has said that. Lord have mercy. M. Chantel, you are mentioning rigidity. Thank you so very much. Uncle Kevin, Kabani answer. Uncle Kevo, give me answer. So we mentioned the fox of irresponsibility. We've already mentioned that of rigidity. Oh my goodness. Olayinka, is that a man or a woman? Olayinka, Sonny, thank you, but you came late. You mentioned irresponsibility. All right, but Olayinka has just given us the third one, which is the fox of unfaithfulness. The fox of unfaithfulness. All right? Wonderful. That's why fantastic. Woman of God, you did a great job. You have also given us a fox of unfaithfulness. Yeah. Uncle Kevin, you've not still given me one answer, man of God. Oh, God, have mercy on the men. I feel like doing the sign of the cross on all the men. Amen. Listen to what a man just said. A man said, Pastor, they have said it all. Oh, God. Well, these men are so excited. Minister Peter, everybody has stated they've finished all the things. You are just coming now. Next time I need you first on the line. All right. Somebody just added one, the fox of pride. Oga, I didn't say that one yesterday. These men, when men don't know the answer to give, they give any answer. All right. Okay, so let's get going. Let's do something different now. When it comes to the fox of irresponsibility, quickly, let's be very objective between the men and the women. Can you give us a score? Say, men, irresponsibility level. Can you say, okay, look, men 60%, women demonstrate irresponsibility 40%. I'd like to know what your thoughts are when it comes to irresponsibility in relationship. From what you have seen, would you say sometimes men are 60, women are 40, or women are 70 and men are 30 from the experiences you have had? How would you rate, how would you score men and women when it comes to demonstrating irresponsibility in relationship? I'd like to quickly see your scores right now. We're taking a census, we're taking a survey, a very quick one. From your encounters, from your observation, and maybe from your own relationship, you want to say, look, sometimes when it comes to being irresponsible, would you say that men are or women are most of the times not responsible? And don't forget that we've been able to state that irresponsibility is a situation whereby one partner is overburdened with the major needs of the relationship. Is that okay? What that means is that one partner is made to carry most of the responsibility in the relationship. The roles and the responsibilities that are supposed to be carried out in that relationship, a major part of it is resting upon an individual in the relationship. One person pays the bill. I was watching what you call this now, 90 days fiancé or marriage or something like that. And that's today. Then there's this woman who was married to a Russian guy. And incidentally, her father is a real estate owner and she works in her father's company. And I literally saw this guy saying to the lady that, why don't you go and meet your father and tell him to give us money? And the lady, in a private interview with the people who were covering the video, the lady said to them, she's overburdened. She said she's the one cleaning the house. She's the one taking care of the children. She's the one providing. She's the one X, Y, and Z. So it's not always the case. You also have situations whereby, and I know a lot of men are doing their very best There are lots of men out there who are working themselves to the bone and doing their very best. So, but from your own experience, I like to get your feedback. Okay. Sandrine said, men 80%, men demonstrate irresponsibility 80% of the time, and women 20% of the time. That is from Sandrine. Let's get down. Patient said, men are 75%, sometimes irresponsible, and women 25%. Okay. Auntie Grace said, men demonstrate irresponsibility 75% of the time, and women 25% of the time. All right, let's get going. I'm waiting to get your feedbacks, and let it keep coming. Let it keep coming. All right, where are the men? Men, you're not speaking. PJ, I see you there. What are you saying? When it comes to demonstrating irresponsibility in relationship, would you say men demonstrate irresponsibility more or women more? Kemi said 80% men and 20% women. This is becoming serious. We are having more of 80 men, 75% men, 70% men, 80% men. Uncle Kevin, thank you. For the first time, Uncle Kevin. Wow. Uncle Kevin said 55% of the time men demonstrate irresponsibility, and 45% of the time women. Thank you so very much, sir, for your answer. Shine Crease, you said that men demonstrate irresponsibility 70% of the time and 30% when it comes to women. Is that okay? Auntie Marian, good to see you. Marian Owomero, my wonderful lady. How are you doing, and your husband in Canada? Special regards to you all. All right. Auntie Tonia said men demonstrate irresponsibility 60% of the time, and women 40% of the time. PJ, you said 50-50. All right. I just hope the women don't come after you. Oh my God. T, you said 99% of the time men are irresponsible. Really? Wow. I don't know what planet you grew up, you are living in. That this planet must be, or what country this is happening. This country must really have a problem. Auntie Anita said 85% irresponsibility, most times demonstrated by men, and 15% women. LS Sunlight said 50-50, supporting PJ. That is great. All right. So let's take it to the next level now. Some of you are saying 50-50. So we're beginning to see a lot. We're beginning to see a lot of 50-50. Wow. Elizabeth, thank you, ma'am. You said 40% of the times where you are, from your own experience, 40% of the time, men demonstrate irresponsibility, and 60% of the time, women. T, I see that you're in Houston. All right. Thank you, ma'am, for letting us know your perspective on this issue. We really appreciate it. Everybody's perspective is valid to the extent to which you have had these experiences. So nobody's experience is to be discountenanced. The reality is we are all given these values based on our exposures and our encounters. All right. That's pretty cool. Let's quickly take it to the next level. So this is the fox of rigidity, all right? I mean, irresponsibility. Let's take it to the next level. Between men and women, who would you say when it comes to rigidity? How would you rate men and women who are given more to change, who are more malleable, flexible, who are the ones you would say in a relationship are ductile? Who are those that you will say easily shift grounds and give space and adapt? Who would you say are the most rigid when it comes to relationship? Who are those who don't easily shift ground? Who are those who don't easily change? Who are those who make it difficult for their partners? All right, so go ahead now, let me know. In relationship, from what you have seen around you, would you say men are rigid or women are more rigid? From your own relationship, from the things you've seen around, would you say that the women, they don't change? Yeah. You tell them they still do the same thing today, do the same thing tomorrow, and all of that. Or is it the men from where you come from? I understand that cultural differences, geographical, traditional differences can influence. Sociological differences can actually cause there to be a variation in the number. But let's just get to have an idea of what your perspectives are. Okay, so M. Chantel said women are more flexible. Okay, that's pretty cool. M. Chantel. Somebody else said, Kemi said, men are more flexible than women. Amazing. That's great, Kemi. Again, T, you said men are the most difficult. All right? Amazing. Uncle Kevin said, men are more flexible than women. Pretty cool. Sonny, another man, said men are more rigid than women. Okay. Olayinka said women are more rigid. All right. So the whole thing is going between women and men. Antitonia said men 80% of the time are very rigid. Women 20% of the time. All right. Sashi, thank you, from Canada. Yeah, you said women are more rigid 70% of the time. See? So you see, as you go from one location to the other, as you go from one experience to the other, one relationship to the other, you get to realize that the situation is different. Why am I throwing this survey? Why do I do this? I just want you to see that what you might consider to be a situation that you alone is going through, I just want you to know that you're not the only one going through it. That's one of the major reasons why I let you get to see this survey. For you to know that, look, you're not the only one going through a situation where your partner is extremely rigid. Other people are going through the same too. So don't throw away your relationship because of rigidity, which is universal when it comes to relationship. Is that okay? All right. Now let's take the last one now, and that is unfaithfulness. This one, I am really going to keep my eyes on the data. When it comes to being unfaithful to relationships, men or women, I want you to rate. Let's see what your survey shows us. Would you say men 60% unfaithful, women 40, or women 80 and men 20? I'm waiting to see your feedbacks now. All right? Waiting to see your feedback when it comes to unfaithfulness. And when we talk about unfaithfulness, we say that you keep violating your partner's trust. Okay? So what we're talking about unfaithfulness, we're talking about a situation whereby somebody keeps violating his or her partner's trust. L.S. Booker on YouTube. I'm waiting. Okay, Okoli on YouTube said, men are more rigid. Okay, so let's move to unfaithfulness now. All right. L.S. Booker, rigidity. Women may be a little bit more rigid, but in my family of 5 girls, the men from other country are more flexible, inflexible. Okay? So somebody's giving us a practical example there. So when it comes to unfaithfulness, as Olainton said, men are 70% most of the time unfaithful and women 30% of the time. Yusuf said 70% of the time men are unfaithful, 30% of the time women are unfaithful. That is on YouTube. That's an amazing feedback we're getting there. Let's come over to Facebook. What's going on Facebook here? Women are more, okay, no, we're dealing with unfaithfulness now. So I'm waiting for your feedback on Facebook. Pretty much, we can see that unfaithfulness, again, the spread is neither here nor there. No matter what you think, the reality is that on both sides, we have unfaithfulness. Men are unfaithful, women are unfaithful. In terms of who is more and who is less, we need to have a universal census in order to be able to depict who exactly is more unfaithful. Today, I'll be continuing very quickly I'll be continuing with this series that we're dealing with. And I know that yesterday was a remarkable time. And today I'm going to be taking you a little bit deeper into the major foxes that destroys what we call relationship vineyards or marital vineyards. What are the things that causes us, you and I, husband and wife, we all walk to the altar to say, I do. We all saw each other and we say, you know what? Oh my God, you are my knights in shining armor. Oh my goodness, look at this guy. He makes the butterflies on the inside of me. There was a time when we all had all those statements about each other. What happened along the way? What went wrong? How did we now suddenly turn around and we are almost like daylight enemies to each other? We all once said we will do until death do us part. How is it that now we've not even seen death and yet we have been done and torn apart? How is it that we were ready to shut down other guys and other girls and say, you know what, this is the person that I think I connect with. And you posted it on Facebook, you sent it on Twitter, the man that has rocked my world, the woman that is rocking my life. And how is it that we've gone from all of that now to sending all kinds of stinkers online and try to use stories to discredit each other? How do we go from extreme love for each other to extreme hatred for each other? How do we go from, the church room to the courtroom? How do we go from having a pastor say to us, do you take this one to be or lawfully wedded, whatever? How do we go from that to having a judge preside over us? How do we disintegrate? How do we degenerate so quickly? How do we get to a point whereby we don't care about the children in between us? We're ready to go apart, not minding the consequence on the kids. How do we get there? How do we get to a point whereby we've been dating each other and we've even started investing? The lady has pushed money into your life. She has, invested into your academics and you have done the same, vice versa. It has happened. How do we go from all of that? We bought each other a car. We're already dreaming of our wedding. We're already dreaming of a honeymoon in Dubai, Bahamas, and the Caribbean islands. How do we go from individuals who loved each other? There was a time we once loved each other. What happened? See, as I said, what happened? The first thing you'll be talking about, you're going to point at the person. You see, but what we want to see today is a little bit different. We want to see what we should really give attention to. I'd like you to turn your Bibles with me, if you wouldn't mind, the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, in verse 15. Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, in verse 15. Somebody said the reason we go from the church room to the courtroom is because the fox of distrust has come into the relationship. We'll be dealing with that. Now, may I humbly ask that as we go to the scripture, so that we don't distract ourselves later, can you go ahead now and share the video? Everybody, please. I'll encourage that this is going to be a good time for us within the next 60 seconds. Quickly, kindly press that button to the left-hand side, the bottom left-hand side of your phone. Just press the word share, the button share. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can actually also share it on YouTube. YouTube allows you to share. Look for that button on YouTube and share the video. You never can tell who this video will tremendously help, particularly the things that I'll be sharing today. Songs of Solomon chapter 2 in verse 15. Whilst you're sharing, please make sure you share. That's all I ask from you. I don't take offering from you. So I only ask you to share. All right? So please, let's join hands together and reach families out there. Benga, thank you so very much for sharing. Sashi, thank you for sharing. Somebody said the reason we'll go from the church room to the courtroom is because of selfishness. Uncle Mike, thank you so very much for sharing. God bless you, sir. Patience, thank you so very much for sharing. God bless you. Somebody's asking the question, how do sweet relationships turn sour? You're about to find the answer today. How do sweet relationships suddenly turn sour? I'm going to be sharing the answer, some of the answers with you today. Thank you all so very much. Let's keep going. If you've not shared, go ahead and share, all right? And trust me, as the broadcast goes on, somebody's relationship, somebody's marriage will come to your mind, and you will then remember that you needed to have shared this with them. Somehow you may even need, if you're on some platforms, you may need to text them on WhatsApp and all of that and send them the name of the page so they can join us. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get going. Songs of Solomon chapter 2. We're going to be looking at verse 15. Songs of Solomon chapter 2 in verse 15. I will use the King James Version, which you are used to. And after that, I will use the New Living Translation so you can see a twist to that text. Let's use the King James Version for now. Take us the foxes. The little, please take note of how the foxes are qualified. They are characterized as a prefix to the foxes. And the prefix, the introduction, what qualifies, these foxes were made to understand that they are not big foxes. They are little foxes. Take them away. Little foxes. They create collateral damage. Take us the foxes, the little foxes. They spoil the vines. Our vines have tender grapes. Our relationship is just burden. Our relationship is just beginning to blossom. Take away little foxes. Big things. It's not the iceberg. It's not the big iceberg in the ocean that destroyed Titanic. What caused 1,500 lives to be lost were tiny little holes along 6 major points where the ship was joined. Tiny little holes. It was not a bomb that destroyed the ship. Tiny little holes. Take us the foxes, the little foxes. What destroys big marriages and relationships are little things. Let's get down to the New Living Translation. Let's see how it puts it. I like this. Catch all. That's how it starts. The New Living Translation states, catch all the foxes. Those little. See, watch this carefully. Catch all. Somebody say catch all. I like you to just simply text it. Catch all of them. Catch all the foxes. Catch all of them. Somebody's texting that. Catch all the foxes. Number 2, we were made to understand the kind of foxes we should catch. We were told that they are those little foxes. Those little foxes. Why should you catch them now? Listen to what New Living Translation states. Before they ruin the vineyards of love. So what ruins the vineyard of love are actually little foxes that are allowed to grow with the vineyard. Those little foxes, those issues that your wife, your fiance, your husband, those little things that the person keeps hammering on. Sorry, you always hurt me with your words. Sorry, I don't like the attention you're giving to men online. Sorry, you always come home late. Sorry, you don't contribute. Those little foxes that we don't give attention to. You are not helping me. You are not supporting me. I'm carrying all the burdens. And you are laughing. And then you even make statements like, what is it? Are there no people that are carrying elephants and they are smiling? And you are only carrying ants and you are sweating. Those little complaints. You are not satisfying me in bed sexually. Sweetheart, you are not meeting my sexual need. You are having yours. You are not romantic. Those trust me, I've been in this for over 20 years. I've counseled across table with couples, and it's the little things that people ignore. And you will hear statements like this, Pastor, help me ask him. Have I not been raising alarm? Have I not been talking about it? You ignored me, and you thought that, well, maybe I was not serious. Well, this way it's led us to. Listen, it said, catch all, don't leave one. Right now, couples, it's in this lockdown season, it's time to sit down and say, listen, which fox of the 12 that Pastor Sam has mentioned, which of the 12 am I allowing to run loose in this relationship? You too. How many have you allowed to run loose? How many foxes totally do we have from your end, from my end? How many foxes are playing in our vineyard, stealing our love, stealing our affection, stealing our passion, dedication, and devotion to one another? How many foxes have come out of your own cage into our vineyard? How many have come out from me into our vineyard? Totally, how many foxes have we allowed into our vineyards? You can't have 12 foxes operating in your vineyard and still have a vineyard left. And they are little foxes. And usually, somebody has been talking about it. Somebody ignored somebody's feeling. Look at what the scripture says. Songs of Solomon 2:15. Catch all the foxes. Those, please, that's a very specific language. Those little foxes. The foxes of irresponsibility. The foxes of letting one person carry all the burden. And the person is saying it little by little. This thing is too much on me. And you are ignoring the person's comments and concerns. The fox of rigidity. Sweetheart, you are too hard. Sweetheart, you are an hardliner. You are Margaret Thatcher. You are Ronald Reagan. Sweetheart, you are too, listen, you are stifling my love. You are too rigid. You are ignoring it. You are not giving attention to those little foxes. When your wife complains of those little things, you know the next thing you do? You go buy her a car. Because for you, those little things can't destroy your marriage. For you, what can destroy a marriage is blatant adultery. For you, what can destroy a marriage is a situation whereby maybe you want to kill me. No, the Bible says what destroys, what compromises the vineyard are little foxes that looks innocent. They are playing in your vineyard and you underestimate them. The common complaints that your spouse has been making, those little foxes ignored over time, are the reasons why marriages come on bended knees. They are the reasons why singles' hearts are broken apart, because somebody was ignored. Somebody's concerns was ignored. Somebody was saying, listen, the foxes you are releasing in this relationship, they are biting me. They are hurting me. They are injuring me. And you're like, what is it? Is it not just because is it just because I used my hand to hit you a little bit? Is it I just shoved you? Was it not a little slap? Was it not something just small? I mean, what did I do? Are there no women that their husbands kick, their husband blows, and the husband hit them on the ground? Have you ever had that they complain, you're not just because I just shove you, I just slap you small? Those little foxes, don't forget, you are not dealing with the statue of liberty that lacks emotions and feelings. You are not dealing with the statue of liberty that is fixed and can move. Don't forget that no matter how much boundary religious walls create around individuals, if you push individuals too far, and if you allow the foxes that you release to keep hurting your partner, someday, someone who is religious, pastor, bishop, worship leader, the person will dump the marriage and get out of it. Never think that your partner can't leave you, no matter how religious they are. They can tolerate it for a while, but after a while, and you know the funny part about religious people is that religious people are the most difficult to deal with when they make up their minds for a divorce. And the reason is very simple. They've tolerated and tolerated and tolerated and tolerated. And then the day they make up their minds, it's usually irreversible. Listen, I'm saying now, before you leave this lockdown period, can you sit down, married couple, singles, if you're dating, can you sit down and look at your relationship and say, hey, wait a minute. How many small foxes do we have running in this marriage or relationship that have come from me? How many did I release? The Bible says it was Samson that released foxes. How many foxes have I released into this relationship? It's time for me to recall them, and it's time for me to kill them. Before these foxes kill my marriage or kill my relationship, it's time for me, who owns the foxes, me, who released the foxes, it's time for me to recall them. It's time for me to take responsibility for the foxes I release. Write that down. Take responsibility for the foxes you release. Recall them and make sure that you either restrain them from operating forever in your relationship, otherwise kill them. My recommendation is the latter. Kill the foxes. Otherwise, they will kill your relationship. If you are single and you are yet to marry, don't wait until you enter into a relationship before you recognize the foxes you have. Right now, from your interaction with people around you, you can tell what people complain about. Don't ignore what they complain about. Those little foxes may follow you into a relationship, either cause a breakup or again cause a divorce. All right. So we've been able to talk about 3 foxes. So the Bible says here, catch all of them. Catch all those little foxes before they ruin your vineyard of love. Be proactive. You can tell that from the way this thing is going, if I allow this aspect of my life to go unchecked, it will one day turn me into a divorcee. It will one day make me lose a vital relationship. It's time to tame the foxes. Did you hear what I just said? It's time to tame the foxes. What are some of the foxes that causes problems in our relationships? I've been able to mention irresponsibility, unfaithfulness, and rigidity. Let me get to the fourth one very quickly. The fourth one is what I call the fox of criticism. The fox of criticism. You can write it down. The fox of criticism. If your partner is always negative and critical of you, so much so that the person always ensures that he leaves the issues at hand and begin to characterize them and begin to label. I'm going to say that again. Listen carefully. If there's an issue and you have a partner, instead of dealing with the issue, your partner begins to characterize you, begins to label you, or begins to give the issue a personality. You are dealing with someone who is critical of you. If I pour water on the ground, or if for some reason I carry water and it splashes on the ground, please just tell me that if you can't help me clean it up, just tell me, hey, sweetheart, you just splash water on the floor. All right? And tell me, please, I'll be so glad if you can clean up the water you splash on the ground. Okay? That's drawing my attention to an issue. It doesn't matter how many times I splash water on the ground. Still draw my attention to it. If you can fix it, draw my attention to it to fix it. But when you go beyond the issue on ground, which is the fact that I splash water on the ground, and you look at me and you characterize me, you label me, you give the situation a personality by looking at me and saying to me, Ken, you're such a dirty person. See, you've led the issue, you've characterized me, you've labeled me, you've given the situation a personality. You're such a disorganized person. That is being critical of somebody. That I left books on the table, that I left shoes on the table, doesn't mean that I'm disorganized. Listen, you might be physically organized, I might be internally organized. Is that okay? And I understand that people who are internally organized will also be externally organized, not in all cases. And by the way, sometimes what you see as being disorganized outside, for somebody is what we call organized chaos. Somebody left something there, left the other one there. Don't think they don't know where they kept what they kept. The point I'm making is that we're destroying our relationships by criticizing each other, labeling each other, characterizing each other, giving situations, personalities, destroying one another, calling ourselves names. You are dirty, you are useless, you are not good, you are X, Y, and Z, and some unprintable words some of us use. Do you know of any relationship where there's so much criticism? It will destroy the marriage ultimately. It's a little fox that will someday destroy the marriage. It will one day destroy the relationship. When you leave issues and you're attacking the person, I'm going to say that again. Criticism is leaving the issue and attacking the person. Always making sure that you never deal with issues. You deal with personalities. People, your partner, people. Instead of saying, oh, sorry, they didn't do this very well. You look at the person and say, they are all disorganized. That alone can destroy any relationship. Catch, if you are the one that is always releasing that fox into your relationship, you are always criticizing. Remember that if you don't catch that fox, and make sure that you recall that fox, and that kind of fox, don't restrain them, kill them. If you don't kill a critical spirit will kill your relationship. There is nothing wrong with drawing the attention of your spouse to something they do wrong. Now, some people will do it over and over before it sticks. There is nothing wrong with saying, hey, sweetheart, look at it. We have water on the ground again today. Is there anything I can do to even help you so that we can make sure this doesn't repeat itself? So the point I'm making is beware of being critical, labeling, characterization. Let me take you, because I have a short time. You have some of my messages. I've done some of these teachings. I've done some of them already online. I've done them, and we have those messages online. So you can use this period, download all of those messages. They are online. I think they'll put the website online for you. Download all of these messages into your system. Listen to them on your way to work. From anywhere you are around the world, you can download these messages and save your marriage so that you can save your children. The foxes of criticism, one of the most deadliest of all foxes that operates in marriages, it steals. You cannot criticize me and expect me to be excited about you. It doesn't work like that. You cannot criticize me and expect me to be jumping at you, loving, kissing, and what? Listen, criticism leads to resentment. Resentment will one day lead to the need for revenge. Let's get to the next fox very quickly. I'm sure you can see it's getting a little bit tougher right now. Let's get to the next fox. It's called the Fox of Ingratitude. The Fox of Ingratitude. Write that down. The Fox of Ingratitude. This fox, this particular fox, can this one alone, if allowed to stay for a long time in a vineyard of love, it will totally destroy the vineyard of love, so much so that you will wake up one day and you realize that your marriage love account is bankrupt. I'm going to say it again. If you allow the fox of ingratitude to run loose in your relationship, one day you will just wake up and realize that your marriage love account, your marriage excitement account has been completely run, completely wasted and turned bankrupt. Ingratitude cannot prevail in a place where love prevails. And love cannot prevail where ingratitude prevails. Ingratitude saps joy, passion. It steals away from your partner the need to do more, the need to be more, the need to give more. Ingratitude is terrible. It's one of the worst attitudes to let loose in a marriage. Don't forget that foxes are attitudes, actions, and behaviors that we allow to run loose in our marriages and relationships, so much so that they steal our joy, they steal our passion, they steal our devotion and dedication to one another. I'm going to say that again. Foxes are metaphors for attitudes, actions, and behaviors that, if allowed, can steal the joy, the passion, the commitment, the dedication, the devotion that exists in our marital vineyard, in our relational vineyard. And one of the foxes that, if allowed to run loose in your relationship can wreak major havoc is the fox of ingratitude. The fox of ingratitude is a fox that makes one partner to feel unrecognized. If I release ingratitude, the fox of ingratitude, if that behavior comes from me, if that attitude comes from me, if that action comes from me, what that does to my relationship is that it causes my partner to feel unrecognized. It causes my partner to feel unappreciated, which is usually in spite of all the sacrifice that the person is making. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you sent a text message to your partner, say, look, I appreciate your sacrifice? When did you say it? When did you ever buy a gift to go to your partner, say, look, I just bought this for you because of all you've been doing? Do you carry your partner at heart? Your wife is working so hard. Everybody see you looking so nice. But your wife is paying the price. Have you done anything to let her know that you value her sacrifice? That she's not complaining. That she is not complaining about the fact that you don't appreciate her. Doesn't mean she's not wounded. I hope you don't wake up one day and find a text message on your phone, gone. I'm gone. Ingratitude. There's nothing your partner does that is ever enough. The man is working his finger, he's working himself to the bone. The man is giving his all, risking his life. And for you, that is nothing. It destroys marriages. It destroys. The same thing with a woman. She will do 2 jobs. She will do 3 jobs. She will come back home. She will cook. She will take care of the kids. She will clean the house. The house is messed up. You are there. You're watching. You do nothing about it. She comes back. She do domestic chores. And she doesn't get a thank you. On the contrary, you criticize her. You insult her. You demean her. It destroys. Listen, it doesn't matter how much Bible she knows. Don't ever think that our relationship with God is an immunity, a permanent immunity from divorce. In actual fact, I hope God doesn't take you away so that she can be free. The irresponsibility and ingratitude of Nabal got to a point whereby God had to kill him and took him away from the equation so that his wife, Abigail, can be free. Let's stop hurting each other. You are in relationship with a guy. The guy is doing his best. He just has a first degree. The guy just got a job where they pay him 60,000 naira. You are not married. And 50% of his money goes to for your Peruvian hair, acrylic fingers, eyelashes. I mean, this guy is doing his best with the little that he has. And yet, you're like, so what is it that you give to me? Can't you see guys who give the right check of 1 million? He doesn't have it now. Why don't you just... And by the way, wise women don't spend money like that. Wise women don't encourage their guys to spend their money. If a guy is making 60,000, you will not encourage him to spend all of it. You will encourage him to keep expenses low. That's a proof that you are a right and potential good wife in the making. You are not married to this lady yet. And she's doing her best. She's even sending you a recharge card, helping you to fuel your vehicle. And yet you just can't say thank you. And you even make statements like, What is it you've done for me? Are there no girls who buy cars for their guys? Really? And you, Lord have mercy. Okay, so the fox of ingratitude, if allowed in your relationship, it will destroy that relationship. Develop the culture of saying thank you. I learned from an older couple that even if you are the one that provides the money for the food, for the fact that somebody else cooked the food, learn to say thank you. And for those of you who are married, after you've had intercourse with your partner, sir, thank you. Don't say I paid bride price. Hello, sir. Let's deal with this bride price matter, because I hear a lot of men now. It's so sad. I'm hearing that now. Some guys will like, sorry, sir, why should I tell her thank you after I've had intercourse with her? She's my wife. I paid the bride price. I said, okay, calm down. How much was your bride price? He said he paid 23,000 naira. Now, for those of you in America, that is less than $100. I said, so that is the value of a woman. I said, listen, if you are going to sleep with a prostitute, I said, listen, how far will your 23,000 go? And here's a woman giving you a body almost every day. For some of you, every day, you know. God bless you, every day. Now, some of you 3 times a week, and then some of you once a week. Whatever your case is, God bless you, okay? But the point I'm making is, she's giving you her body. Don't ever think the dowry you paid is the worth of the woman. She's more than the dowry. Her father didn't sell her. Same thing with you, madam. Be grateful. This man is doing his best, taking care of your siblings. He has bought you a car. He's done this for you. He's given you his time. He's given you his love. He honors you, respects you. But you want him to see measure up because you are now in the midst of other women. You don't know what their husbands do. You don't know how long their husbands have been doing it. Because when they go to Dubai, they go to Hawaii, they go on vacation, they fly first class. Because they do that, you want to bring that pressure on your innocent husband, whose income, if subjected to a first class, his income will be wiped out, 2 months compressed. What is your joy, madam, that you flew first class to and fro Dubai, and then you got back home, your husband's 2 months' salary is gone? Are you going to use the ticket you got from flying first class to foot the bill for the next 1 month? Everything has its time. There was a time in my life, I mean, I couldn't fly a plane. I'm talking about the fact that I'm a pastor. I travel with buses overnight, and I can't even afford a normal seat. So they would give me a wooden seat as an attachment. They'll put it in between normal seats, and I would sit on a wooden seat in between normal seats because I couldn't even afford. Later, when I began to make some little income, I was smart enough to have read some very nice books on finances 19 years ago. I educated myself on finances 19 years ago. I read books like Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read all of that. Anthony Robbins, Real Estate Investment, and all of that. I made sure I educated myself on investment portfolios. I had to educate myself and my wife on the need for us to develop what you call the psychology and the philosophy of money. And to some people, they thought that we were broke, you know, but they didn't have an idea. We worked so very hard, and the little, so we kept our expenses low. We refused to compete with our mates when they were buying cars, when they were buying shirts and blings. We kept expenses low. Today, the difference is clear. I can choose to fly anything I want. I can choose to buy any brand I want. But all of that came through sacrifice, through recognition of the need to pay now so that you can play later. Delayed gratification. Not putting yourself under pressure to impress anybody. By the way, by the time you impress anybody that you are wearing a $16,000 Rolex wristwatch, so now you have impressed them, how much comes into your account in return? Wow, okay. My time is, let me give you one more. I think it's obvious we're going to roll over till next week, all right? It's very obvious. Okay, let's take one more. And that is called this one, I want to touch on this. It's called the fox of contempt. The fox of contempt. Let me say it the way Professor Gottman of the Gottman Institute, let me say it the way he would say it. After researching marriage for over 50 years, he has come to a conclusion that the moment contempt enters a marriage, the moment the fox of contempt is released into a marriage, it is guaranteed that that marriage would soon come to an end. It's guaranteed. Contempt. And the fox of contempt, when it is released into a marriage, this is what you will notice. Your partner will begin to treat you with disrespect. Your partner will begin to mock you, ridicule you, despise you, make you to feel worthless. If your partner is constantly talking to you, treating you, dealing with you in a way that makes you feel worthless, contempt, the fox of contempt is running loose in that relationship. It goes beyond that. It includes asserting, your partner asserting his or her superiority over you, attacking you to the point that your self-worth is lost. I will break that down. When the fox of contempt is at work in your marriage, one of the things that you're going to see is that your partner will always use your mistakes to insult you and let you know that someone like him is better than you. In fact, the common language of a contemptuous person, the common language that you hear from somebody who is releasing the fox of contempt, is you hear things like, those of them who are born again, so to say. You hear statements like, if not because of God, someone like you and I should not be married. It was because God dealt with me. That's why I married you. I have so many other ladies I can marry. They were coming after me. They were lying down. They were sending me text messages. So it's just because really there's nothing in you. It's just the grace of God. And then, what confuses me is that when somebody is speaking a contemptuous language, the person is adding scripture. You hear things like, I don't know, if not for marriage, someone like me from the kind of family I come from should not be married to someone like you from your kind of family. But, don't worry, the Bible says that God is the one that still brings people together. So let's assume that it's because of God that we are together. However, your family lacks a lot of exposure. That's why we're having all this challenge. You are not exposed. And then you hear things like, what's the name of that? What school did you go to again? Oh, I can see where your trouble lies. People are not really exposed. For someone like me, by virtue of the fact that I've been to Harvard and I've been to Oxford and I've been to all the places, and all those sarcastic way of talking, all those ways of establishing you above the person, you have a problem with your anger. People like us, we have our manners well taken care of, and always asserting your superiority over your partner. No, that is not Christ. The Bible says he was God. And yet for our sake, the wife, for us, his wife, he came down to our level so he can lift us up to his level. This is what marriage is all about. Coming down to the level of someone who is not up to yours and allowing your strength to equalize their weaknesses. Not asserting your strength over their weaknesses, forgetting that they have strength in area where you have weaknesses. Contempt. Using words to demean your partner and establish yourself. There's so much to say. There is so much to say today. But we will leave all of that until next week. There's so much to share, but we will leave all of that until next week. So you join us next week. We're going to continue with the 12 foxes that are destroying marriages and relationships. I'm sure the little you've learned today has been of some significant benefit to you. Right? If you have any question or concern, go ahead right now and ask me the question. If you have any question or somebody said narcissistic behavior. Somebody said kai. Somebody said after this teaching, if your self-esteem does not hit the roof, then there is a little hope for your self-worth. Okay. Yes. How has it been for you? I'm sure this teaching has been useful to you, right? Okay. If you have any question, go ahead and ask me the question. I must respect your time and allow you to have an exit. What a moment we had today with David and Nicole Binion. If you didn't watch it, go and watch the broadcast. Next week, I'll be hosting Pastor Isaac Oyedepo, the son of Bishop David Oyedepo, all the way from Maryland, the United States, in our morning prayer. Pastor Brian Meadows will also be joining us sometimes in the course of the prophetic prayer hour, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. So get ready in the prophetic prayer hour next week. We're having so many things God will be doing for us. Any question? All right. At this point, somebody said it's been awesome, Pastor. Thank you so very much. Yes, thank you so very much. I appreciate all your compliments. Wow, very useful. Thank you so very much. Well, the only thing I ask you to do, make sure somebody gets to watch it. Host a watch party. Let somebody get to watch it. Let's not keep it to ourselves. This will save so many marriages. God's blessings be on all of you on YouTube, on Facebook. Kemi, thank you so very much. You said it's awesome teaching, sir. We love you, sir. Kemi, I love you too. You've been an active participator. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you so very much. Can someone have at least a trait? Listen, you can have almost all these foxes that I've mentioned so far. You can have all of them coming out from you alone. So one person can become the source of more than one foxes that will be ruining a marriage. You are irresponsible. The same person is rigid. The same person is ungrateful. The same person is unfaithful. You can have all of it flowing from one person. And at the same time, you can have just one coming from one person, another one coming from the other party, two foxes in a marriage, stealing the joy of that marriage and relationship, ultimately having the potential to destroy it. Thank you so very much. It's been a great time loving all of you and sharing with you. May the God of heaven bless you, be with you. And we will see bright and early on Monday morning, Nigerian time, 5 a.m. for the prayer time. And don't forget that on Sunday, 7:30 in the morning, I started a powerful life-changing teaching last week on how to bounce back from a setback. I started talking about vision. And people called me to say, look, Pastor, that was a masterclass indeed. I'd like you to join me on 7:30 on Sunday, 9 o'clock on Sunday Nigerian time. Any of those times will be a great reward to you. I'll be continuing on the series, How to Bounce Back from this setback. Love you. Bye-bye.